The next trio of questions commences with question 13. A curve has equation y equals brackets x plus 2 all squared plus 4, so in completed the square form. Which of these gives the coordinates of the turning point of the curve? Now you can either do this using knowledge or using reasoning. Personally I prefer reasoning, but lots of you will have just learned knowledge. If I expand out this bracket here, I'm going to get x squared plus 4x plus 4 plus 4. It's only really x squared I care about, so I know that I have my parabola U shape there. And so my turning point is going to be my minimum value at this point here. So if I look at my equation, I need y to be a minimum value, and that x plus 2 all squared, that can only ever be either greater than or equal to 0. That's because whatever happens with the x plus 2, let's say the x plus 2 is minus 8 squared is 64. Equally, if it's 8, 64. 0 squared is 0. So I either get a positive non-zero number or I can get 0. So my minimum value of y is when x plus 2 is equal to 0, or alternatively x is equal to minus 2. When x is equal to minus 2, y is equal to 0 squared, so 0 plus 4. Y is equal to 4. And that gives me minus 2, 4. More of you will probably be familiar with the idea that if a curve is of the form y is equal to a brackets x minus p all squared plus q, your turning point is at p, q. So here in this situation I have x plus 2, so that's x minus minus 2, so p is minus 2. And q is 4, minus 2, 4. Same argument there, so either learn the formula or think about what's happening on your graph. Question 14, find the values of a and b such that x squared minus 4x plus 9 is equal to x plus a all squared plus b. So as with any completing the square question, the first thing I'm going to look to do is to rewrite my first two terms, my x squared and my x terms, in some multiplied bracket form. So I'm going to write that as x minus 2 all squared, because that gives me x squared minus 4x, and then a plus 4, but I don't care about that for now. So that gives me my x squared minus 4x. As I say, I get my x squared minus 4x plus 4. I don't want that, so I subtract 4. So this whole thing here is just equal to x squared minus 4x. You can check that just by multiplying out your brackets. I haven't done anything with my plus 9, so I still have my plus 9. So I then have x minus 2 all squared, minus 4 plus 9 is plus 5, and so a is equal to minus 2, and b is equal to 5. You'll also notice that this number here is half my coefficient of x, and that will always be true. And then equally I am subtracting whatever this number is squared, and that will also always be true. But it's better to understand the process. Question 15. Which three values are greater than 1/2? I look at my options here. I'm just going to rewrite a half in a number of components. So I can write it as 2/4. Therefore a is greater. I can write it as 50%. So b is not greater. I can write it as 1.5 over 3. So c is not greater. I can write it as 0.5, so d is greater, 50% and 59%, so e is greater, and then f with 0.5, not greater. And that's the next three questions. Done.